Alright, welcome everyone to my game review series. Today I'm going to be reviewing Marvel Spider-Man PS4. So, Marvel Spider-Man, this game, when it was coming out, before it came out, there was a lot of hype around it. Now I'm going to be discussing whether it lived up to that hype. So there was a lot of hype. There was trailers. I remember I saw the first trailer. Spider-Man was swinging through a city and had these like really thin webs and beating up henchmen. So pretty much the first Spider-Man game that I know of that was a console exclusive. And so basically I'm going to be discussing in this video why I believe that Marvel Spider-Man did live up to the hype. So the story of Marvel Spider-Man starts you out about 7 years into Spider-Man's career as being Spider-Man. So he's I'm pretty sure that's the right number, and Spider-Man is about 23, I believe. So Spider-Man's a little bit older than usual representations, and which is actually kind of a breath of fresh air in my opinion, because it's you know, the young Spider-Man is always overdone when he's like 16 or whatever, 15. Anyway, so what's cool about the story is that it gets the characters right. You know, it gets them right and pretty much takes them pretty seriously. So unlike other Spider-Man games, Peter Parker / Spider-Man is actually a scientist, and it actually shows that he's actually an intelligent scientist in this game, because he has various gadgets. He has like you can see in the beginning of the game, his mask has movable eyes because they're like electronic, and he has gadgets that he made, and he actually has a job as a scientist, and you can actually do different science-related puzzles in the game, which are actually optional because you can skip them if you don't like that kind of thing. So, and there's a wide array of different Spider-Man related characters and rogues gallery, such as Scorpion, Rhino, Kingpin, Shocker, and a few others that I'm not going to spoil. And they're all done pretty well. And the designs are pretty good too. There's only one design I don't like, and there's one design I don't like. Now, when I put my hands up like this, there's gonna be spoilers on who I'm talking about, and when I put them up again, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so the one design I don't like is Doc Ock or Dr. Octopus's design, because they just made him look really weird looking, and he's not supposed to look like that with the bald head and the weird face and all that. I just thought it looked too weird. I thought it was kind of ugly and shitty looking, but the rest of them were really good. Okay, so the story actually takes risks, and there actually is a death or two. I'm not going to say how many deaths there are, but there is one or two at least. And you might actually, at least I did, get emotional at the ending, because it is a pretty crazy ending. One that you might not expect from your usual happy-go-lucky superhero game. So the story is really just top-notch in my opinion. I thought the writing was really good. I thought they took the material seriously. I thought it was a great story. Okay, that's the story. The graphics. So the graphics were just really top notch. There's tons of detail in pretty much everything in the game. There's And by the way, there's like pretty much around 30 different wearable suits for Spider-Man in the game. Somewhere around that. There might be a little more with the DLC. And they all have tons of detail. They have like, you know, the muscles, stitching. They have some of them have like quilted shoulders. You can see all this tons of detail in there. All is really good. They're unlocked through various activities that you can do. You can buy them, and they all have different. Well, I'll get to that in the gameplay section. But the suits look good. The environment looks great. The city is pretty much the best looking and best city out of any Spider-Man game, and really, really great looking city. And it looks great during the day. There's night. There's dawn. There's rain sometimes. I mean, there's just tons of detail. The buildings, almost every building has detail to it. You can see the reflection of the city in like all the windows, which looks very realistic. Some buildings you can see the inside, and it looks pretty real. Like you see like rooms inside there, and they actually move around the right way when you're moving around them. The villains have a lot of detail, and they have some pretty cool designs for them, like I said. So overall, pretty much 8 for the graphics, like 9 or 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, I would say. The faces look very realistic, just great graphics. Presentation. So the music I thought was top notch too. I mean, I thought it was like almost like if you're watching a new superhero movie, you know, like a Hollywood movie almost. The quality of the music, the orchestral theme, all the different soundtracks for the action scenes and all that. Lots of cool set pieces and all that. What else? Okay, so let's get to the gameplay. So the gameplay, what's different about this game from other Spider-Man games is that you have a ton of gadgets, and they're mostly web related. You have impact web, which is this web that shoots them like far out. When you shoot like one blast of web, it shoots them away, and it can stick them to walls pretty easily. You have electric web you can get, which doesn't really make sense, but it can electrocute people. What else? Oh, you have the regular web shooters, of course. You have a drone you can use, rarely. But sometimes you can use a drone that'll go fly around and shoot electricity at people. So that's the gadgets. There's also stealth you can do besides the regular fighting. So, and stealth works pretty well. You know, I think it actually works on the level of like Shattered Dimensions. What was that called? That's Stealth Spider-Man. What's his name? Come on, I forget his name. Oh, Spider-Man Noir, that's his name. So it pretty much works on the level of that, but with added gadgets and added mobility. So it's actually really good. The fighting has a lot of different components. You can basically dodge around, you can attack, you can launch, and you can web. So if you launch, you can like grab them from the air, you can attack in the air. And basically what the combat encourages you to do is, one, use all the different gadgets, and two, use the launch and different aerial attacks to basically jump around and not stop moving while you're fighting. And especially if fight in the air. So move from the air to the ground to the air and back again, and webs and all that. So it's pretty cool. And you can bounce off the wall and do attacks. You can web them to the ground and they'll be downed instantly. That'll take the enemy out. You can web them to the wall. Lots of different combat capabilities. The web swinging. Now this is the big one because most people, if they say the web swinging is bad in a Spider-Man game, they'll say the game is bad. It's actually, if it's not the best, it's probably the second best. Because I still think Spider-Man 2, it had that feel, it had the weight. It might be the best, but I'm not sure. It's a toss-up between this game and Spider-Man 2 to me. There's weight. When you fly off the webs, it'll actually work like like through physics. Like if you're at the end of a swing, you'll go higher, or if you're in the middle, you'll go forward. You can run off walls, and the controls are all really good. You can actually change the controls, but it might be a bit confusing, so I wouldn't do that. You can do tricks. You can jump super high. There's lots of cool animations for the swinging. What else? What am I missing? Oh, so yeah, while the swinging is top notch and tons of fun, there's one gripe in the game that has to do with gameplay and mobility, and that's the wall climbing. Because the wall climbing, there are certain points or certain places where you're trying to climb and it actually stops you. And it doesn't happen very often, but it's just a little nitpick. So when you're trying to climb up something, you actually can't. You have to either jump or swing up there. So it's just a gripe. It's not a big deal, but yeah, I wish they would fix that. Hopefully, when they make the second game, I'm sure they will, they fix that for the second game. What else? So, the swinging is great. The combat is great. That's pretty much all you need to know. There are a few set pieces, and there are a few button sequences. What do you call those? Quick time events. They weren't that big a deal. If you don't like them, you can actually turn them off. And I was able to get all of them except for one during a fight between two villains in Spider-Man. For that one, I just turned it off and it was no big deal. I just skipped one. The rest of them I could get. So yeah, the quick time events are not a big deal. So they're actually pretty cool animations. So I think you'll like them. Now there are a few parts when you play as either a few people that are, friends or basically friends of Spider-Man or a love interest, and that's either MJ or Miles Morales. Now these parts are probably my biggest gripe with the game because pretty much they're just boring because you have no powers and they're kind of like stealth sections, and with no powers you can really never attack anybody and you're pretty much just running away and you're pretty much just hiding. And in a Spider-Man game, you really just want to fight, you want to swing, you want to just use all the superpowers. So those parts are the most boring part of the game, I would say. And probably my biggest gripe because, you have no powers. But at least Mary Jane gets this taser that she can use later in the game. So she can knock out enemies. But besides that, you can't knock out enemies at all, really. And you just have to run or hide. So I thought that was kind of boring. So in the second game, I'm hoping they fix that. So that's pretty much it for what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I think I covered everything. So yeah, great graphics, great story. Great presentation, What more do you need? I'm going to give Spider-Man PS4 a 9 point... You know what? I was going to give it a 9 out of 10. But fuck it, I'll just give it a 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 then. Yeah. So pick it up if you haven't already, if you're a fan of the character. The reason I'm going to give it a 9.5 is because it's kind of cheating, but I am a big fan of Spider-Man as a character, and he is my favorite superhero, so. But they did him justice with the game, and it's one of his best yet, if not his best. So, Insomniac did a great job. This has been RJ Epic Reaper. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.